Okay, so take us back to the military. Like, I don't feel like a lot of people necessarily go to school for animation and then decide to do military. So like, what was kind of the background? Is it family was in military, or how did you decide that?
So it was actually the inverse. I was a game nerd since I was 10, the dawn of video games. I still remember the sound of putting in PlayStation, first one, slam the thing down, Resident Evil, Crash Bandicoot, all this cool stuff. But going into high school, Halo came out, Call of Duty. I was getting really serious, and I loved playing war as a kid. In the forest with Nerf guns,
Battleship,
laser tag. Yeah. So in high school, I was always that guy that hated posers. That term was prevalent back then. And I remember thinking, like, none of these guys that are making these video games know what it's like. So these video games were, I doubt the Call of Duty at the time. It's much bigger now. But I'm like, I doubt these guys are interacting with actual warriors, right? Actual Marines, actual soldiers, whatever, getting an understanding of how these games should play, how they should feel. So I said, all right, I'm going to join the military. My family has no money, so they're not paying for me to go to college. And if I want to go to college, I have to finance it myself. So a GI Bill would be great. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to join the military, I might as well join the hardest one, because I don't want to be 10 years down the road and have somebody else making fun of me because I didn't do the hardest one. So as many
That's
things.
one way to think about it.
I mean, the FOMO of being part of the most elite fighting force was there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'll join the Marine Corps.
How the average kid who plays video games, I feel like that's totally not their MO. You know what I mean? Like, they want the easiest path. They don't want to go and do the hard work. They're fucking smart, right?
Lately, I would say that, we're in the process of onboarding a client I think they're in Georgia, that I met playing Call of Duty, and he owns like 20 supplement stores.
Oh shit.
He's like 26.
Wow.
And it's the first time, ironically, I really haven't been playing much lately because business has taken off, but too busy. But it was an easy way to justify to my wife that video games are good, right? It's a networking
It's a good lead generator.
And she's like, how do you figure out while you're playing Call of Duty that somebody you're talking to owns these businesses? I'm like, I really don't remember. I'm sure we were talking about, one of my friends mentioned a watch or a car, and we got into that. And then I was like, what do you do? And then what do you do? And
yeah.
But I'm saying all that to say, I feel like the prevalence of video games in our society now is actually, I would say it's still heavily majority, the stereotypical video gamer with a pot belly and drinking Mountain Dew.
Yeah, because that's how I remember it.
Yeah, I can't
how
tell
old are
you
you again?
37.
37. Okay.
I can't tell you how many business owners I know that send me like Call of Duty memes and Xbox memes, and especially with the Formula One getting popular in North America, racing simulators. One of my best friends in Boston just got a racing sim, and he's like crushing business for the first time. And now he's taking extra time to spend on video games. And I think the more high functioning you get, the more important it is for you to do something monotonous. And playing video games, especially if you have long distance friends, it's a really cool way to like hang out without being in the same room together, but you feel like you're doing something together. It's the closest thing you can get. My brother-in-law, who is also one of my best friends, lives in St. Louis. We try to race at least once a month. We do drinking and driving. You drink a Negroni, you drink a cocktail, you race. Your stats get progressively worse as you're going on, but it's a great way to hang out, chat, talk about life, catch up.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a stigma with guys calling each other just to catch up. But if you're doing something else at the same time that's like manly, then it's okay. It's like therapy. But anyway, getting back to that whole thing, I had such a heavy judgment on video games and my assumptions that the guy with the pot belly drinking Mountain Dew was making these games and had no actual experience, no military background. And I thought, man, wouldn't it be a cool business model if I was the first guy to do it? So joined the Marine Corps. I enlisted in March of 2007. I was still in high school. I graduated that year, took the summer off, and then I graduated boot camp in January of 2008. So I did active duty for a few years, came back home, started up at a biotechnology startup while I was going to school. Then we got activated for a Bahrain deployment, so I took another year off, came back again, reconnected with the biotechnologies company while going to school full time, graduated in 2016 with my degree in animation and video game design, and I have not used it one time since.
Well, you did, which we'll get to. For your,
I have not used it.
Still motion.
I have not used it in a way that has generated revenue one time since. I have used it as favors and fun gifts for friends and a way to pass the time during COVID. But other than that, no, my Bachelor's of Science with a minor in fine oil painting has not served me. It makes for a great conversation, though.
Yeah.
As we're
Here we
sitting
are
down.
talking about it. That's sweet, man.
Yeah.
The one of the guests that we just had on here, Sam Kulikov, he owns a marketing agency and a gaming team, the Pioneers. And so,
Competitive.
yeah. So
Okay.
he just actually traveled over to Sweden with his team, and they did a video game championship over there.
Wow.
And they
What
also
game?
did, I
Fortnite?
can't remember. No, I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. But they're going to actually also, they're going to Abu Dhabi soon to do a Rocket League championship.
I've only played that once, and it is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I'm not
So
good enough
they actually though recently partnered with the Chiefs, and so they're doing like activities and they're doing video game stuff.
Is it philanthropic?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Yeah.
I will say the only sport that I consume is Formula One, but watching these professional race car drivers that are the highest paid athletes in the world, like playing video games or doing things that are frustrating is really fun to watch. So
Yeah.
I can see that angle being exciting.
Did you ever see the movie of the kid who like?
Gran Turismo?
Yeah, dude, that is such a good movie.
True story.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a killer story.
And the guy, the guy that the main character is based on is the stunt driver in the movie.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's I watched it on a plane because I assumed it was going to be a flop, and so if you watch any movie on a plane, it's going to be better than watching anywhere else because there's nothing else to do. So you're like, I'm not wasting my time at least. So I'm sitting in this chair.
Yeah.
So I watched it. I forget where I was going, but even my wife watched it, and we liked it. I liked it a lot.
Nice.
I've only watched it once, but it is very entertaining. I think who's it? Orlando Bloom is in that, right? It's like the first movie he's been in since
Was he?
like Lord of the Rings.
No kidding.
Yeah, he's the instructor.
Okay.
He's got the
I
quaff.
didn't recognize, bro.
Yeah, he got a full beard. Yeah, so it's Orlando Bloom and then a bunch of no-namers, and then Hopper from Stranger Things is in it, right? I believe so.
I don't watch Stranger Things.
Oh, well, you're missing out. But yeah, so that movie really blew my mind. And then, of course, like anything, I have this weird thing where I'll watch a movie and then I'll investigate it for 3 hours, especially if it's like a thriller and it don't make sense. I'll watch 10 hours of YouTube videos. But I went down the rabbit hole of who is this guy? What's his real story? How accurate is the movie? And it's like 85% accurate.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Dang. So Hollywood left most of it in, huh?
Yes.
When they say based on a true story, it's not the 10% and then the aliens come and dragons kill
So
each other.
funny you're saying that, and this is a strong digression, but with all this new AI, I'm reading this series of fiction books called Dungeon Crawler Carl, and the prompts in AI that are generating these videos are so good. I'm like, eventually we can get to a point where I can just upload an audiobook and then wait 5 weeks for the AI engine to like build me a movie. And it's going to perfectly describe or build the character based on the original author's description, all the internal monologue, all this stuff. We're going to be able to surpass Hollywood's renditions of things and visualize someone's idea in its truest form, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to
Dude, my
do that.
uncle actually is doing something like that right now. So he's doing a backstory on the Wizard of Oz characters. And so
Like from his own perspective?
from his own perspective, because it's in the public domain.
Right.
So you can write any,
Yeah,
it's like
like
Sherlock
107
Holmes, you
years
know what I
old or
mean?
something,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what he's doing is he's actually doing a, shout out to Uncle Matt here, but he's doing basically the origin story of these characters, right? And so instead of like, oh, here's the Wizard of Oz and the golden path to, you know, whatever, he's basically having it be like this underworld, right? And Toto, instead of being a dog, is a fucking wolf. And so they have to basically like fight these gang members, blah, blah, blah. But what he's done is he's taken these stories that he's written out and he has AI go in and create the trailers, the videos.
Sweet.
Yeah, and he's going to be doing like a gaming concept around it. But yeah, dude, to your point, are you using AI in your business at all currently?
Yes.
You are?
Yes. There's many businesses, so I don't know how you want to introduce each one, and I'll tell you how
Yeah.
we're using it. But yes, as a corrective tool in one, as a cold outreach tool in another, and for bidding and for my government contracting business, I'm just cataloging all of the wins and losses, and having it build me charts on what the ideal margin would be if we're bidding a random job, and like good, better, best. Bid it at this, you'll 100% win. Bid it here, 20% chance of winning, but higher margin, 50%. And it's just a way to digest millions of lines of code and data without spending any time. It's
Nice.
incredible. Anyone that's not using it is going to lose for sure.
Yeah, we're using it in our business too, mainly for like the copywriting side of things.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, we already have these proven things. Take their origin story or their backstory or their client results, right? And basically put it in here and then spit out the successful.
It's wild. One of the things I use it for predominantly on a daily basis is if someone sends me a contract agreement for something, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to pretend to be. I don't play one on TV. I'll upload it in ChatGPT. I'm like, what do I need to be concerned about here? And I feel like many people that have historically gotten the wool pulled over them are going to be a little bit stronger now. And the companies that are typically predatory are also not going to be able to pull quick ones on people anymore. So I'm excited about it for that because, if you're getting started, you want to be an independent sales representative for somebody and they send you some crazy non-compete and you don't know what the language is. They use all this insane terminology that makes it impossible. It's like reading the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. None of the sentences are in the right order. Like, what is this even saying? So I really like it for that too. I mean, I use it every day for everything.
Yeah.
Even a simple things. I'm like, let me just fact check this. Let me make sure my grammar is good. I try not to have it speak for me because if I meet somebody in person, I want them to know that the way that I talk is exactly like it is in the way that I write my emails. So I don't have it change any of that. But I also love texting with hyphens. I've always used hyphens. And now people think that I'm using ChatGPT because I'm a big hyphen guy. One of my friends always says big. Anytime I send him a text with like 2 hyphens, he says big hyphen guy. It's like one of our things. But yes, now I can't. I wrote Katie my first ever public display of affection for her birthday, and I probably used a dozen hyphens, and all these random people were like, ChatGPT wrote this. I'm like, no, it did not.
That's funny.
It came from my heart. Thank you. What do? People now are just going to assume everything's ChatGPT at this point.
No, 100%. Was that you, Jordan, I was talking with, who was like, dude, the fucking hyphens on this thing? Yeah.
You can, me too. But you can also, there's, have you ever used ChatGPT to help you fix ChatGPT?
Oh, dude,
I don't want you to use emojis ever again for as long as you live. Write me something to tell you to shut the fuck up.
I go in and I'm like, hey, change all the hyphens to ellipsis. The ... right? So it goes, it's the exact same thing, right? No emojis, but it changes all the hyphens to ellipsis. And I'm like, all right, this is much better.
If someone sends me a text that has bold letters in it, I'm like, you copied and pasted this shit.
There was a book too that I ordered and I went through it and I saw all these hyphens and I was like, I didn't even read the book. I just tossed it.
But you had already bought it.
Yeah. No.
So who cares?
Exactly.
The damage
He got paid either way.
Yeah. You didn't show anybody anything. You just didn't get any information out of what you spent money on.
So let me back up here because I feel like people who start businesses, right? They're either in like one of two camps. Either the person or job that they work with, they absolutely hate, but they have the skill set and they're like, I'm tired of this shit. I'm unemployable. I can't work for somebody. Or B, they feel like, hey, I'm called to do this higher thing, or I see a need in the market. And you mentioned, hey, there's a lot of independent sales reps that might get fucked by a sales organization.
Yeah.
Is that what happened with you?
No. I never, first of all, I'm still in the military. So I absolutely can work for someone. In fact, I can work for people that can treat me as badly as they want, and there's nothing I can do about it. So there's no HR department in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
So I think that's an important note because humility is a big role in being a successful entrepreneur, I think. But I did know that the leadership that I got in the Marine Corps was about the most that I needed. So I knew that I wanted whatever else I did, I wanted to come from a place that it was something interesting to me. It was something that I had control over the build out of. I had good partners, which is super important. And whatever you ended up with was something that you could sell, you could continue to grow, something that you would have passive income on, of course. But I've never felt slighted by corporate America in any means. I just realized that my skill set from a sales perspective would always be better served doing business for myself than somebody else, because at the end of the day, there's a goalpost that somebody could always move, and your comp is always going to be tied to that. And no matter how good you do, it's what have you done for me lately? So if you grow a business $10 million and that $10 million is recurring revenue, the next year that goalpost starts over again.
Yeah.
And so, if your 10-year plan, like, hey, wait, we're going to hire you today. We want you to grow the business $10 million over the next 10 years. You do it in the first year. You don't get to coast for 9 more years.
Right.
They're just going to say, wow, we need to refigure out what our budget for you is next year. And that's how business works. That's how businesses grow. So I understand it. But the other side of that is shame on you for having that talent, but not wanting to bet on yourself. And I see this happen to people at 22. And one of my best friends, he had this revelation 4 months ago. Dude's already a millionaire. Literally went into business for himself, started selling skin substitutes. If you don't know anything about it, it sounds suspicious. But he just bought 2 Lamborghinis like yesterday.
Nice.
It's wild.
Yeah, what's a skin substitute?
So it is essentially pharmaceutically enhanced skin grafts. I think a lot of the stuff that they use is like fish skin. And then for wounds that won't heal, they lay it, and I'm probably butchering the truth of this, so fact check it all, but you lay this skin substitute over a open sore that's having a hard time healing, and it radically accelerates the healing process.
Oh, wow.
And it's interesting because they'll sell it for $400 or $500 per square centimeter. That's how it's sold. And Medicare Plan B will reimburse the physician who lays it like $5,000. They're changing it. So the getting was good. They're effective January 1st.
Well, the loophole was there.
They're dropping it from $5,000 reimbursement to $115. So the industry is going to be squashed. And a lot of lobbyists are saying that people are going to lose access to care because nobody's going to want to do it anymore because they were getting rich for like doing nothing. And now they're going to have to work five times hard to make a third as much.
Yeah.
But the getting was good. He got in at the right time, and now he's got a ton of capital to do whatever he wants to do next. And I think his whistle has been wet, so he will not allow that trajectory to slow down. And I think that's all it takes. When you had a taste of the good life, it's if you weren't motivated enough for whatever else you had, and he just got engaged, so he's motivated to be a good partner, which is awesome. I think that's why he's here now too. But if you don't have an incredible companion or a family, I'm fortunate to have both. But if you don't, and you're only motivated by self-betterment, one of the best ways to become more successful is to taste a little bit. And it's addicting.
Yeah.
It really is.
I see this post come up on Instagram every once in a while. It's like, money can't buy you happiness, but poverty can't buy you anything.
Well, I guess it depends. It depends on who accepts the food stamps and what you can exchange them for.
Yeah, there you go, man.
Some people were living better than me, making a lot less than me at some point in time, and I saw that too. But yeah, that's not the right way to do it.
Yeah. So tell me about the companionship. Me and mine broke up a few months back. I don't know if I ever shared that with you.
I did not know that.
But
sorry to hear that.
Appreciate it. But I mean, I see you and Katie, and you guys have a fantastic relationship. And I'm curious, both from a personal side, A, how did that whole thing come about, right? How did you guys meet? But then B, you said, the companionship and the family is, super key to helping you grow and prosper in your business. So I'm curious how Katie's a part of business as well, especially with the most recent endeavor you guys have taken on in the Kansas City area.
Yeah, great question. One of my favorite topics, my most cherished thing in my life is that relationship. Katie and I have been friends since we were early teens. She dated the drummer to my heavy metal band. I had long hair. And,
You were a heavy metal band?
Yeah.
Man, there are so many sides to Jameson that I am just now learning
so
about.
my name, like all of my childhood friends called me Jamie. So if you YouTube Jamie Emling, you'll find some hilarious videos.
Okay.
But
We'll have to do a little overlap.
maybe. So we've been friends for more than half of our lives now, which is really cool. I always thought she was a stunning individual inside and out since I met her. We ran in the same circles for several years. Obviously, she came to all of our concerts for 6-7 months while her and my friend Petey were dating. She graduated early. She was a grade above me also and went to different high schools, but we took probably a 7 or 8 year hiatus from ever even interacting with each other. I always followed her or was friends with her on Facebook while she had one. Mm-hmm. Then she got rid of one. I never had a social media. And then I started this business called Chicago Dipped. And we had followed each other. I had followed her. She didn't follow me back. And I had gotten out of an 8-year relationship. I just got back from some training, and I was getting ready to go out on more military training. Mm-hmm. As it happened, one of my Marines asked me if I could take him out in Chicago for his 21st birthday the day before we left to Norway for several months, the Arctic Circle. And I'm like, I don't know why you think I'm somebody in Chicago, because I definitely wasn't. I didn't really go out drinking. But I knew that Katie had worked at this very hard to get into nightclub in Chicago called the Underground. So I reached out to her on my business's Instagram, and I'm like, hey, we haven't spoken in a really long time, but bunch of my Marines want me to take them out for their birthday. We're leaving the next day. Is there anything we can do? And she's like, I'm 25 or 26. And she's like, hey, it's like she didn't know who I was, but I had referenced her dog. I had referenced, both of her dogs. I had referenced things about her that she knew I was familiar with her. So she perused the social media and found like one photo on our page when I hired our first employee. We did like corporate handshake. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, Jamie, it's you. I had no idea. I was always wondering who this weirdo was liking all my stuff. So she's like, yes, so we can get you and your 5 friends in. Do you guys have any girls coming with you? I'm like, no. She's like, that's going to be hard to get you in. Normally it's like $100 a person. She's like, I can probably hook you up. Like, let me talk to somebody. So she messaged me a couple days later. She's like, we can get you in for like $1,000 minimum. And I'm like, oh, fine, $1,000, no big deal. And inside I'm like, oh my God, $1,000. So
that poser that you hate there.
And she's like, I work at the bar. I'm not a table server, but you can hang out with me while your friends are getting service. I'm like, cool. So we did that. I was super nervous, excited to see her. We're all Marines. We're leaving the next day for a deployment. So we all have the identical haircut. We're all within 3 inches of each other. And I didn't even think I had a credit card at the time. This is now it's about 10 years ago. And we're at the end I'm standing at the bar the whole time. My 5 delinquent Marines are getting drunk at the table. The server comes up to me while I'm chatting up with Katie with 2 billfolds. And she's like, hey, we had to close you guys out because the 2 of your friends got kicked out. They were thrown up. I'm like, great. Mm. She hands me 2 billfolds and she's like, sorry, we can only run $2,500 at a time. So we had to run it twice. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Come to find out, she was asking one of my Marines, thinking it was me, if you want more. And he's like, yeah, let's go. So the very, very expensive lesson that really set the tone for my relationship with Katie, because she likes nice things and I want to give them to her. It was a $5,000 evening. Luckily, I did nothing for the next 90 days because I was in Norway, so I was able to reimburse myself. But it was a very painful evening. But reconnected with Kate. When I went to the Arctic Circle while I had service, we were talking all the time. Mm. And got back home. I had a house in the suburbs. She lived downtown. At 2 a.m, it's a 45-minute drive. At 2 p.m, it's a 3-hour drive. But I would drive down twice a week to see her. So we started dating. And I think we started dating in March, and I pretty much proposed like a year later, and then we got married that same year. So it's one of those things. Love is an interesting thing. It motivates you in so many different ways, but when you feel it correctly and you feel it strongly, you kind of realize that all the other things that you thought were love in the past, they were just so much different. They paled in comparison. Mm. And Katie is the first girl in my life that didn't kiss the ground I walked on. She was like, hey, here's my level of expectation. You can either meet it or you can go away. And it's not like you can meet it and then we're good. It's like you have to maintain that. And much like a sales organization, we're probably going to move the goalposts too. And I needed that. And she taught me so many things. One of the most important ones was this idea of positive mental energy, positive mental attitude, like things attract. She made me watch this terrible documentary based on the book The Secret.
I was gonna say, don't tell me it's The Secret documentary.
It was the worst, like acting wise, it was the worst thing I've ever seen. And messaging wise, it was the most important thing I've ever consumed. And but I watched it, I made fun of it. And at the time, so I had just met what would eventually be my business partner at a gym. And I owned with two of my friends, I owned a detailing, like a vinyl autoplasty dip automotive shop of sorts. And I had met this guy, he was in the payment space, and he's like, you should send me business and I'll pay you. I'm like, cool. So watch this documentary. I'm like, this is silly. And she's like, do me a favor. Give me 7 full days where you are just excruciatingly optimistic. She's like, what do you want out of life? I'm like, well, I want security. She's like, okay, well, how do you embody that in one single item? I'm like, well, I don't want to sound greedy, but I would like us to have more money so we can do more things. She's like, that's easy enough. So she took out a dollar bill. She wrote a comma 000, comma 000, so $1 million bill, taped it to the ceiling over my bed. She's like, every night when you go to bed, look at that. Every morning when you go to bed, look at that. And I did. I rolled my eyes every day, but I did it. And on the last night, we got a call from, again, my now business partner. And he's like, hey, some weird stuff happened with licensing and all this other stuff. It's a long story, but he's like, we need to move the business into somebody else's name for the time being. And you are the number one guy that's been selling for us. So we would like to make you a partner.
And this was the guy you had been sending business to?
Correct.
Okay.
He's the guy that started Pillar. And I'm like, okay, what do you need from me? He's like, really nothing, just a couple signatures and you're going to start getting, 5 times the amount of money we've been paying you, which at the time was like $300. So $300 to maybe $1,500 to $3,000 a month. And again, I'm 26 now and that's a lot of money. I'm like, okay, send me over the paperwork. I didn't have ChatGPT, so I actually had to read it and digest it. But I'm like, seems like there's no downside here. And there really wasn't. 10 years later, there's still not. But I looked at Katie, I'm like, holy crap. I hung up the phone, I'm like, I'm a partner in Pillar. And she's like, what does that mean? I don't really know. It means my income is going up by $30,000 a year for doing nothing. And she's like, well, that's awesome. Well, I don't take handouts. So as soon as I got that, then like day one, I called them and I'm like, okay, I need to understand everything you know about this. So, because I'm not just going to sit back and let you guys grow a business and pay me on it. Like I need to be more involved and I want to help you guys grow this thing. And over the course of the next 5 years, not only did I get more involved, but we started breaking into the cannabis space. We at one point had the largest cannabis processing portfolio in the country. We did like the 3 big names in Colorado when Colorado was maybe one of 6 states that were doing dispensaries.
Yeah.
Which really talk about seeing some nice, like my income went up 10, 20, 30 grand a month. And it was a wave. We knew it was going to go away. But while the getting was good, again, got a taste of that. We need to replace this with something sustainable. So we started going after larger and larger companies. Eventually, we finally got one massive Fortune level company that was doing like $1 billion a year on cards. Having that clout enabled us to get other businesses of commensurate size. And then, of course, COVID happened. Some of the executives from that customer left and went other places, called us up. Hey, you did amazing things with my company over here. Can you help us here? And the business just kept like doubling and doubling and doubling. And then, again, all of this is from the epicenter of that drop in the water, which was Katie making me watch The Secret. And everything that's really come in my life since has been branched off from that defining moment. So that moment was not a documentary on Netflix. That moment was the companion pushing me and giving me the grace to laugh at something, but also challenging me to not laugh it off, to focus on it. And every day she challenges me. Sometimes I roll my eyes at it. Sometimes I might swear under my breath. But you know, what you see on Instagram is, of course, you're seeing a highlight reel, but we have a really, really good relationship. And as parents now too, probably the most challenging but rewarding thing ever is raising a spawn, as I call him. That he's had, you know, he's special needs. He's got a genetic mutation that's been extra challenging, especially amidst purchasing a bar. But seeing her as a mother has created a new level of respect for her that I didn't even know I could achieve in my mind, because she's already number one, but somehow she outdoes herself. So I don't think if I did not have someone like her in my life, I don't think I would want as much for myself. I think I deserve it. And I still don't, but she does. And so that is all I need to keep foraging. Yeah. Money's cool, legacy's cooler. So having different businesses that I think could sustain time and grow, and eventually something that I can give to Aston or have him at least be a part of, is super important to me. That's the new goalpost.
Yeah. We had one of the guests on here, Chaz, whose real name is actually Chaz Wolf. That's his actual last name. And basically the whole theme of our episode is that we're raising our grandkids' parents.
It's a good way to look at it. So,
like you said, man, legacy's everything at this point. Do you still have that $1 bill above your bed?
No, because I was in my house in Illinois.
Didn't bring it to KC, huh?
It needs another comma now.
So what made you guys decide to, well, there's so many different directions we could take this. Yeah. So are you like an official believer in law of attraction, quantum physics?
1,000,000%.
Okay.
Yes.
So if someone's maybe a non-believer, like, I don't know, like, I understand the quantum physics piece of it, right? Where like, oh, an atom can be in two places at the same time and blah, 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 blah. But like, what's the process that you used, or that The Secret talks about, that you would be like, hey, if you were looking to maybe use The Secret, right? Here's what I did, and here's how you could do it too.
So I think there's so many different ways to explain it without it sounding campy. If they're a parent, the easiest thing would be is sit down in front of your kid when you're really mad. Don't change the way you look. Don't change anything you do. Just be mad and see if your kid gets irritable, because that energy is like palatable. And I think a lot of people are like, you have the most amazing son. He's so good, blah, blah, blah. How is that possible? I'm like, your children are a reflection of your relationship. And as I said before, while social media is absolutely a highlight reel, Katie and I are like 90% of what you see is how we are. We've never raised our voices at each other. We figure things out pragmatically. We have conversations. We've never had a debate or argument last more than 20 minutes. It certainly has never spanned into the morning. Like, we always start fresh. We kiss each other goodnight, kiss each other good morning. And Aston is a reflection of our relationship. He is an even keel, chill, happy baby all of the time. The only time he's fussy is if he's hungry, which is the same as Katie and I. The only time we're fussy is when we're hungry. So if they don't have kids, then my challenge has been, and I've bought these books for many friends, I have a gratitude journal. And every morning you wake up, you write down 3 things you're grateful for, 2 positive affirmations. I'm capable, I can do whatever it is I have on the docket today. They say you always tackle the hardest thing first, things like that. And then at night...
Eat that frog.
Exactly. I have 2 reminders on my phone, gratitude journal in the morning, gratitude journal at night. And at 10 p.m., I write down good things that happened that day and things that I learned. And sometimes you're repeating old stuff. I try to dig deep and find something new every time and not just use the same sentence in a different way with different words. But when I started doing that, the 3rd time I journaled was about 1.5 years ago, and I was having some infighting with some of my partners at my business, and I'm like, man, at the time I had 2 companies, both with some of the same partners. And I'm like, man, in the event that one of these guys is like has it out for me and just doesn't want to be a part of this anymore, and like I have to walk away from these businesses, I have nothing else that's not tied to them. So one of the things I journaled about was I want something new. I want a new stream of revenue that is not tied to anyone within my two businesses. And I drove to Topeka, where my military unit was at the time. And one of my old customers from my payments company reached out to me. And he's like, hey, I think you probably noticed we haven't been processing payments in the last couple of months. I'm like, yeah, I saw that. He's like, well, the veteran owner of our government contracting company, like stole some money from the government and like fled the country. I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, I'm not a veteran, but I have all these relationships with the Department of Veterans Affairs and Granger and all these suppliers, and they want to use me for contracts, but they have preferential treatment towards service-disabled, veteran-owned small businesses, and I can't get that status. Are you interested in starting a business with me? Because I think we could hit the ground running. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, do you want to meet for coffee? I go, yeah. I go, wait, don't you live in Topeka? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm in Topeka right now.
No shit.
And it's only an hour and a half away, but still,
Yeah.
I'm like, I can meet you in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I can change out of my uniform and be at a coffee shop in 10 minutes. He's like, let's do it. So we went there, we sat down, we talked about what it would take, what we have to do, what the steps are in my hands, and we started Aston Brecken Solutions, AB Solutions, which is our government contracting business.
Is
Started
Brecken his
daughter's
kiddo?
name,
Okay.
yeah.
Nice.
And AB is great. In the good old days of phone books, businesses were always AB because it'd be the first one in the phone book.
Yeah.
So we started that. We have a third partner, Blake, who's awesome. He got added in kind of the 11th hour. I'm sure we would have changed the name, but we're like 800 grand in revenue this year, first
Nice.
year. And statistically, ChatGPT, only 5% of government contracting businesses ever even land a contract, ever.
Really?
We've had 8 year to date. And of that, only 1% of that 5% ever see $1 million year ever. And depending on how the last 2 weeks of the year go, we could have $1 million under contract by the end of the year.
Nice.
The margins are tiny, but still, like the things are in place for this business to. There could be a time 5 years down the road where I laugh that I ever did payments or software. I hope not. I hope that everything is flourishing together, but that's a very realistic possibility that the trajectory of this business could outlast the other ones. So coming back to the gratitude journal, that is the power of it. I haven't stopped doing it since. I preach about it as much as I can. If there's someone is like excited about the idea of that, there will be a gratitude journal in their mailbox within the next 2-3 days, like $8 on Amazon. And so if they're a naysayer or they're like, help me understand this, I can't really explain it. All I can do is beg you to try it for 7 straight days. And if something really cool and profound happens, then you can thank me and you can never stop journaling.
Yeah.
And that in and of itself should be powerful enough to say, screw this, I'm a believer. It's free. It's free to believe in it, and it's free to be happy.
Yeah.
And if you're positive, you're happy, you believe the universe is going to provide for you and you want it, it will. I say it whenever I'm in a trying moment, I just close my eyes and say, the universe will provide what I need. It's okay. And it does. The storm always passes.
Yeah.
You just have to believe that it will.
That's awesome. Takes the same energy to be happy that it does to be sad.
It actually takes a lot more energy, guys. Like a lot. If you look at a baby and smile and just smile and smile, it'll smile a lot faster than it'll look sad if you're just sad. And maybe I'm jaded because my son's happy all the time.
Yeah.
But like waking him up in the morning, that kid he's never cried himself awake. He's happy, and that's the best way to start the day is to see him smiling at me. I'm like, hell yeah.
So
Tank full.
was that something that you struggled with? Because
Happiness?
you said when you met Katie, one of the things that she challenged you to grow was being more optimistic.
I had a resting bitch face. I still do. I furrow my brow all the time. Usually it means I'm thinking, but also just I forget. She's like, hey, relax your forehead. I'm like, you'll thank me later. Do you want Botox? No. I wouldn't say I was pessimistic, but I certainly wasn't excruciatingly happy. I wasn't trying to infect people with laughter and smiles. And I bring an element of humor to every facet of my life, sometimes too much, oftentimes sarcastically, as we discussed at the beginning of this. But it was really easy to get me to be negative. And it was really easy for my worry to start snowballing.
Like different triggers or like anxiety?
I
Or...
really hate the term trigger now, but it's very triggering. But I don't know. I think a lot of it had to do with just my upbringing and preparing for the worst without hoping for the best.
Well, yeah, because you mentioned like one of your highest values was security.
Yeah.
So was that something you didn't have growing up when your family didn't have a lot of money?
I'll be very clear. I didn't want for anything growing up. We were never rich.
Yeah.
Like we went out to dinner once a month.
Same.
So we weren't poor. I never went hungry. My parents provided a great life for me. We were absolutely not rich by any stretch of the imagination. Our one dinner a month was an old country buffet. And generally it was like a family ordeal and my grandpa was probably paying. But I definitely was not a struggling family, for sure. My parents divorced when I was 9. My mom has basically, both of my parents have worked most of my life, if not all of my life. My dad works to this day. He's a mechanic. He retired after 37 years at Honda for like 2 years and then went back to work again. But security was just, we never really did cool things. Katie was the one that brought me to Disney World at age 26 for the very first time. And as a nerd, as a guy that went to college for video game design and animation, not going to Disney World until you're 26 is crazy.
Yeah.
When Toy Story came out, it changed my life. Like, it's not my favorite Pixar movie, but it is, because it is the Pixar movie. But storyline wise and everything else, I have other ones. But
yeah, dude, we just got back from Disney World and it's just a master class in exceptional everything.
Oh my gosh. It is a Four Seasons city.
Yeah.
And if you can be mad at Disney, then no one can help you. Like, even before, I mean, I went there and I was in absolute heaven before Aston was born. We went there. We went to the Galactic Star Cruiser, the Star Wars Hotel, the day before it closed forever. And we were very fortunate in that. Katie was 6 months pregnant at the time. And we had all the pregnancy complications had just started. So that was probably more miserable for her than she let me see. But going there with Aston unlocked a new level of happiness that I didn't know I could experience, because seeing the most innocent, perfect soul in your life, like really responding to these things, all the while, all this noise. Why are you spending all this money to bring your 1-year-old to Disney? He's not going to remember it, blah, blah. I'm like, he probably could.
Yeah.
If, what's his name? If Nicolas Cage can remember the inner linings of his mother's womb, as he claims.
Was that a thing?
Oh yeah. It's really funny. That guy's crazy. But, I think we take millions of photos at this point and we show them to him. And I think if we consistently create a pattern of tying his visuals to those memories, then when he's 6 and they really start sticking, he may not remember the actual moments, but he'll remember seeing the pictures.
Yeah.
And you kind of fill in the blanks in your memory anyway. So, but I remember.
Yeah.
And he, like, Donald Duck is his favorite character. So when we go to the character breakfast, he gets most excited over Donald Duck. He loves seeing Mickey, obviously. Who doesn't? We do as many interactions with the cast members as we can. And he just lights up.
Yeah.
And it is, I mean, I cry every day at Disney World. And it's happy tears, but I'm not too shy to admit it.
Yeah.
But it's the best. And if you don't leave Disney planning the next one, shame on you. Even if it's a year out, 2 years out, which I'm pretty sure you can actually book it that far out. You didn't do it right.
Yeah.
That's the best thing ever. And it's more expensive than like a 3-week trip to Italy for 4 or 5 days in Disney World, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
And
Most
it's hard.
magical place on earth, man.
It really is. Disneyland is cool. It's just really not the same.
See, I haven't been to land yet.
You don't
I've only been to
you
Disney
don't
World.
need to go.
Okay.
If you could have done it, Disneyland first and then Disney World, because then it's just like,
Yeah.
but once you start at Disney World, going to land, I mean, everybody should do it once, I suppose, because there's a great tiki bar there.
Yeah.
Trader Sam's there. But yeah, World is better. Like
So I just, speaking of Disney World, I went in. Have you ever seen the flywheel? The business flywheel? So in 1957.
Do they do websites?
No. 1957, Walt Disney basically took his business plan and published it in the Wall Street Journal. And there were like 16 different revenue drivers. And so I was just looking and I'm like, man, that is so smart because it all feeds into each other, right? The merchandising. Well, it all starts, of course, with the characters in the story, right? In the cinema, which is actually like the lowest revenue generator for them, but is the thing that allows everything else to be possible, right? You can't have the park without the characters. You can't have the merchandise without the characters. You can't have the licensing. Cocktail. Yeah, exactly. You can't have a $20 cocktail without the characters.
That's just sugar.
And I was looking at how to do that in my business, but I feel like you've done that very well with Pillar Payments, kind of at that core, right? Because it allowed you to get into cannabis. You also started doing that with the retirement home community. So like, what does your business ecosystem look like and how does it all feed into each other?
So payments, the landscape of payments has changed in the last 10 years. And that's why we deviated into software. We knew there was a gap and we knew we needed to figure out an alternative way of making money. So in the payments space.
And that's kind of how you, just to back up, right? I mean, that's kind of how you guys, well, you told us how you got into Pillar, but I mean, were you guys always one of the, like save money on payment processing? I know that's kind of the USP for Pillar was, hey, we're going to help you save more money on the payments that you're processing.
Payments is a commodity and it is only getting lower and lower in value. And what I mean by that is it's a race to the bottom. The payments is an easy bake oven, set it and forget it. If you talk to your payment processor more than once a year, either you're not doing it right or they're not doing it right. But it's not because of issues with the actual tech, because it's straightforward. Mm-hmm. It's been around for 40 years now. But we knew it was a race to the bottom. So our whole goal, where some people are like, hey, I can save you $1 million a year, which means if I save you $200,000 a year, I can make $800,000 a year. Mm-hmm. We're like, let's save you $999,000 a year. We'll make $1,000 a year off of you, and you will never leave ever because no one's going to come in and undercut us.
Yeah.
And if they could, you're not going to move all your systems to save a couple of cents when you just got saved all this. So we're like, okay, we're going to adopt that model. We're going to give away as much of the business as possible. The average credit card processor probably has a margin of around 35 basis points. 0.35%. And they probably have 20 to 40% churn in their book of business every year, which means they're losing 30 to 40%.
Just from like new offers.
From someone else coming in and saving them another 5 and another 5 and another 5.
It's
so
like the credit card who does 0% APR on the first 12 months.
That's on the other, that's the consumer side. But our average
problem. Same model I'm saying.
Correct.
Like,
yes.
Switch to us
100%.
Whatever.
Yeah. Do a balance transfer.
Yeah.
So we're like, let's just go right to the bottom. Let's not have all this churn. So our average profit margin across our multi-billion-dollar portfolio is about 8 basis points. And we have lost one client in 10 years.
Wow.
No churn. Now, since the industry standard is 30 to 40%, if we wanted to sell our business, we would only get maybe a 2 to 5 year multiple on our income because it's kind of like insurance. You've never crashed your car, but if you buy a red Charger that gets crashed 300 times a month, that risk profile is elevated. And so you're subject to everybody else, not yourself. So someone's like, I said, well, yeah, you haven't lost anybody, but we're going to lose some people once we take over because that's just the market. And also they're going to take over and raise everybody's rates. We've never raised our rates.
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, we're never going to sell this business because why would you sell a business for 3X when you know you're going to have them for 20 years? It's just not worth it. So we need to figure out a new business that is in a landscape that we understand, but has more of an exitability because I would love to work forever and I will work forever, but I want to keep building new things. And all of my ideas that I have right now that I haven't started yet need a substantial amount of capital. And I'm excited about them for when they come to fruition, but I need to build these things first. So this idea of revenue cycle management in hospitals and healthcare came up maybe 5 years ago. My partners.
And for anybody who doesn't understand what that is, can you just define revenue cycle management and what that means?
So revenue cycle management is the entire life stream of a healthcare payment from when it gets medically billed to when it actually gets fully funded. And that means There's going to be a private pay element, an insurance element, maybe a social security element, maybe cost adjustments for different state laws, and then the actual collections piece. So the bill being presented with all the itemizations of what you owe, what's all those adjustments, split between an estate and the person or family members, and then fully captured, or even worse, goes to actual collections. And it particularly applies to healthcare and hospitals. So 5 years ago.
Also, after the podcast, remind me to introduce you to my friend Matt. He works with, they do like loans for that kind of stuff, for medical billing. So I don't know if you're able to connect with him at all, if that would be beneficial.
Absolutely.
He lives like 5 minutes away from me.
Any business that is ancillary to ours, that serves the same customers, but we are not competitors, I'm trying to add into our ecosystem to make our technology more sticky.
Okay.
So
because he works with a lot of personal injury accidents that need to get funded because of that. So I'll connect you guys after the podcast.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So 5 years ago, I have a call with my 2 partners, and I'm like, what do you guys think about revenue cycle management? Because through Katie, we had a friend whose dad owned Epic. Epic is like, they're a Cerner competitor. They're like a hospitality EMR, or not hospitality, hospital EMR software, multi-billion-dollar private owned company. So they're like, man, that's a difficult one to get into. We should put a pin in that. Like, we don't have the funds to build anything like that right now. I'm like, okay. And then 2 years later, I am in Texas for the Marine Corps, and a really, really good friend of mine, his name's Brian Gomez, he's like, hey, this whole payments thing, could you help long-term care facilities? And I said, I don't know. Probably. If they're taking payment on credit card, then I can help them. It's like, let me connect you to my friend Drew. I went to boot camp with him, and he's the CFO of 36 locations in Georgia. So he connected me, and I talked to Drew, and Drew was like, hey, I would love to use you yesterday. How can we get this started? I'm like, you just send me over your statements and we're good to go. He's like, well, it's not quite that simple. I use an EMR software called PointClickCare, and you have to be able to communicate to their system, or otherwise I can't use you because it has to be integrated. I'm like, all right, take me through that. He's like, well, we generate statements for billing through PointClickCare. The current company that we're using will interpolate those statements and then send them out to our customers. They will then register a payment instrument and it gets paid. I'm like, okay, so you need like a billing functionality. He goes, sure, you figure it out, call me later. So I'm like, who is PointClickCare? I find the website, pointclickcare.com. I go into partnership inquiry and I send their inquiry. I'm like, hey, we potentially have a mutual client. They seem to be dissatisfied with their current vendor. Is this something that we can work with you on? And they emailed me and she's like, hey, so thank you so much for reaching out. We're interested in chatting with you. Let's have a talk. So I copied and pasted that email to my partners. Like, hey, they want to chat. They're like, cool, ask her this, and this, and see what she says. So I did. She's like, hey, I appreciate your enthusiasm. Let's just get on a call and we'll go over all your questions on there. Screenshot, back to the partners. And they're like, hey, if she can't even answer these simple questions, what are we even doing? We're not going to waste our time with that. I'm like, guys, it's 10 minutes. Tell you what, I'll have the conversation.
Damn, they seem even more direct than you do.
I mean, we're busy. There's only 3 of us. I get it. But I was like, I'm not shooting this down. I'm not too good for a 15-minute conversation.
Yeah.
So we set the call, just me, and I'm on the call. So it's her, and all of a sudden the CFO jumps on at the time. And like, hey, sorry about the clandestine back and forth. We're actually in the middle of terminating our exclusive agreement with our current payment provider. And so we just didn't want to have that in email because they don't know it yet. I'm like, oh, well, what are we doing here? Well, we're going to a marketplace model where anyone can bid and connect to our system. And we're going to announce that in October of next year. So if you're interested in it, we will give you guys access to our sandbox and you will have effectively a 1-year head start on everybody else.
Damn.
I'm like, okay, this is cool. I'm like, what is the opportunity? And I didn't do too much due diligence on them. I didn't have Zoom info at the time. I didn't have any sort of access to like back-end data. I just knew that they were a decent sized company. They're like, well, we pretty much have the market cornered. We have about 87% of long-term care use our system. I'm like, oh, what does that look like? We have 26,000 homes using PointClickCare. I'm like, okay, amazing. From a payments perspective, what are you guys seeing? They're like, well, that's a great question. Are you big enough to handle us? I'm like, yeah, I think so. Like, we can handle anything. Like, all right, cool, because we're doing around 10 billion. I'm like, it's like 5 times the size of us. And like, yeah, so 10 billion a month. I'm like, oh my God, a month? So I text my partners. I'm like, you need to get on the Zoom call right now. So they jump on and like ask the questions that I didn't know what to ask. And they're both veterans in the industry.
Like from the tech side, making sure you guys
tech side, yeah.
handle
I mean, between the two of them, they've got 53 years in payments. One of them handled risk for Visa. He just knows all the right things to ask, and also what we would need to know to figure out how much it's going to cost us to build a software. So we have a huddle up afterward. We're like, holy crap, this opportunity. This is the definition of blue sky, and or blue ocean. Sorry, I'm thinking of animation, Blue Sky Studios. So we have a couple of friends in the industry that have ancillary things that we sell. We work with. Payments is like this incestuous thing where you send deals to other people, they send deals to you. You pay each other.
You told me all the steps, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, all that to swipe a credit card?
Yeah, yes. And when you start getting into high risk or technology, there's even more. Just the stack just goes higher and higher. But one of my partners is like, I think we've got the right guy. Let's get on a call with him. And he is now, his name is Mark Fisher. He is now our partner, great friend, really cool dude. So we get on a call with him, and he is like, man, this is a cool business. People are getting older, but they're not dying. Thanks to pickleball, they're going to live another 10 years.
Yeah.
So he's like, I have the front end user interface. I have the gateway. I know these 2 developers that are killer. I think we can enlist them. It's like, instead of spending $4 million on a tech build, we can just take on equity partners that are going to make sure that the technology works and keeps getting better and better. So we reached out to them. We had a group call with all of us, and we're in. How do we get started? Let's get started. So those guys put their heads down and started coding for like a year. We went live on the marketplace in October of 2022. We now have over 400 facilities. We have like 80,000 users. We're collecting over $200 million a year in payments just in TransactCare. And our growth is just, it's been like occasionally linear, occasionally exponential. But I think because of the dawn of our generation is starting to take over the estates, if they have them, for their parents or managing the finances, they're demanding card instruments, digital payments. And what's really wild, Daniel, is many of these facilities are checks, paper checks only. You guys are living in the Stone Age. But a lot of these reimbursements are mandated by the state. They only have maybe a 4% margin. Well, they say these owners of these large groups say they have a 4% margin as they're getting on their private jet. So something's not right here. But a lot of the reimbursements are thin. And so to absorb a 2.5 to 3.5% fee for a credit card is detrimental to them. So we built the tech out so they have the option to pass that fee on to the customer if they really want to pay with a credit card. Then we have the ACH functionality. We're trying to figure out how to add a collections piece, perhaps a lending piece. There's a lot of different ways that we can make our technology more sticky, but our real goal is to make the life of the accounts receivable person at the facility as easy as possible, and then also make it as easy as possible for the residents and their guarantors, legal guardians, to make those payments. And so we have 3 full years on the marketplace now. We have sponsored their PointClickCare's big summit in a bigger way every year. I would like to think, I've at least heard in the last 6 months, that we're the fastest growing payments partner for PointClickCare. We just inked another deal last night for like 36 more locations. I'm super excited about.
Nice.
But that is a business that was born out of Pillar because it's a payments business, but it's a software company. So when you have a software company, it's that subscription based, you can sell that for 10 to 30 times your annual income. And that is interesting, because you don't have to work as hard to make as much. But also, whoever your acquiring potential partner is or the acquisition company is going to look at that business from a totally different perspective and think, how can I leverage your user base to sell other products perhaps that I'm not even thinking of? And because we're payments people and we own the payments data, we also have all that purchasing data from the consumers. So another angle we're thinking of is, can TransactCare issue its own credit card to our users that are then not only spending back into our ecosystem, but we're acting as the acquiring bank. So when they go spend it on Amazon, we're the ones that are making the interchange that is typically being charged to these merchants and making somebody else, like Capital One, is making all their money off it. Can TransactCare do that? And it just gets really exciting. We went to Visa headquarters last year. We met with their entire team on the dawning of long-term care. They had mentioned that is the lowest performing market in North America. Like this, other than education, education's a second. Only 8% of payments that are happening for long-term care are happening on credit card. So it's their lowest performing market. And just like, you guys are seeing like a 12 to 15% conversion. How are you doing that? And so we told them communication, understanding cash flow. If your mom or dad is in a home and you're running tight on funds, it's like, well, if I could put it on a card, I can keep them in for another month and a half. And if I can't, if it's only cash, I can't afford it. I have to take them out tomorrow. And we all know with cash flow problems, you might just need a couple of weeks to figure it out.
Yeah.
So adding in that extra cash flow and also coaching the facility managers to be comfortable accepting cards. We had one group that's like, you know what, we're gonna do a test. We're gonna absorb the fee, and we're just gonna see what it looks like. And their cash flow their accounts receivable went from 8 weeks to 8 days.
Wow.
And it's like, all right, so what is the actual cost of money being floated out there? And a lot of these people, again, a lot of these homes are not charging late fees just because they're like me. They're too nice.
Yeah.
They're like, you're in a tough spot. We're not going to charge you the late fee. And it's like, well, that's costing you money. Are you doing anybody any favors if you go out of business? No. So, charging 2 late fees to 2 people might be the difference between you guys going out of business in 10 years or not, because you 2 people for 1 facility times 36 facilities times 10 years, like that's material money.
Yeah.
And so it's all about messaging. It's all about coaching. It's all about the generation, the way they look at credit cards. I mean, I remember being taught growing up that overextending yourself on a credit card is bad. Use a debit card only because you should only buy what you can afford. And like that is true for many people. But if you use it correctly, you're losing out by not using a credit card.
Yeah.
And so again, it's just the way you're framing that story, the population group you're selling to, the demographic. This facility group is in California, so their fees are a lot higher, but also the people don't care about an extra fee.
Yeah.
They're like, whatever. I don't even look at it. So
that California money.
Some of these homes are $20,000 a month. What? And some of these people are in there for 7-8 years.
Yeah.
So you're like, man, well, that's the house.
So, dude, the strategy, I mean, are you the one coming up with all these strategies of how to integrate everything together, or is it the partners? Like, I feel like the background in video games of being able to like see around the corners or being able to like strategize, and obviously your work in the military probably helps with,
we all think outside of the box, but every idea that I've mentioned here has been mine. And one that I'm really excited about that no one seems to be interested in is like, I want to get a partnership with like Farmville and Candy Crush and have it in our app. So I basically want my user, so my customer is the facility, but their customer is the resident. And so my customer's customer is still my customer.
Right.
And if I have a facility that's like, hey, we're going to maybe move to a different software, but all of my residents are communicating to each other on Farmville in my app. And they're like, hey, if you guys rip out this app, what the heck?
Yeah.
So I want them to come to the front desk with pitchforks. Say, do not go away from TransactCare. So I'm like, how can we make sure that people are demanding our tech?
Yeah.
So I'm literally thinking about gamification. Like, can we add a social element to our app where residents can interact with each other and have fun? Like we're at an age where 85-year-olds are on their phone.
Yeah. Dude, with Lexi's grandma, for example, I mean, when she got first moved into that assisted living facility, she actually changed living facilities. And she had a ton of friends at this one, but as soon as she moved into the new one, she didn't go and introduce herself. So not only is it a great way to make friends and make companionship, but also that stickiness element of, I don't want to be outside of the village gates.
Right.
100%.
100%.
I don't want that status decrease going back to the high school, but I don't want the status decrease among my friends.
Not to mention, you could put 180-year-olds in a room. They could all have varying different interests, but if they all play Candy Crush or they all play Farmville, hey, we already have something in common.
Yeah.
That the stress of like, what will we talk about is already gone. And if you have happy customers, happy residents at a facility, especially if that facility is struggling on placement, like if they're only at 30, 40% capacity, but if they have really happy residents, when other people come in to like, hey, is this a place I want to put my grandma in? You know, it's not Ben Stiller from Happy Gilmore. It's not there. It's going to be a group of residents that are super pumped to be there. They're interacting, they're smiling. Again, that positive energy, you're going to be able to feel it in there. So if we can be a part of why residents are happy, certainly don't want to be a part of why they're mad, but if we can be a part of why they're happy, that's just going to make our technology way stickier.
Yeah.
And it's going to make people start talking about it in that water cooler effect, which is really important because the long-term care industry does not like adopting new technology. They're worried about their brand. It's a lot of trust to onboard a technology company in the geriatric community. Like that's not lost on me. Forcing an app in front of 80, 90-year-olds.
Yeah.
It's an uphill battle. But every year it's getting easier and easier because the 90-year-olds now have only been dealing with cell phones for a third of their life. The 90-year-olds in 10 years will have had cell phones for half of their life. And the 90-year-olds in 30 years will have cell phones for their whole life.
I mean, shit, at that point, they won't even be in a living facility because they'll just be robots and living forever, right?
Transfer their psyche into a Tesla bot. Yeah. But yes, I'm constantly thinking of, well, I'm constantly terrified of losing market share. We haven't lost any customers really in TransactCare, which is amazing. But we've only been in business for 3 years. There could be a great culling of 2026 that I'm not prepared for.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly thinking, staying up late at night, wondering how can our technology have so much to offer that nobody else is doing, that no one wants to leave. But we also want people that are coming to our technology because it had something that like, well, we needed a credit card for our customers. You guys have both. So we didn't even think that we needed a resident portal, but you have this too. So foregone conclusion. We budgeted this much money for this, and you guys do this and this. Done.
Yeah.
Let's go. And again, I'm just always thinking of how can we make people wanting this without even realizing that they want it.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you that you were one of the main reasons why I got into advertising tax planners?
Absolutely not. You did not tell me that.
So I was I saw this ad from Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, right?
Yeah.
And he's the spokesperson.
Is he in the red, the Rolex Daytona with the red strap?
I don't know, man, but he
I've been seeing
definitely
that
had
one
2
for like a
watches
year.
on.
Yeah.
So I got hit with this ad, and this was back when I was in my apartment off of like 161st and Metcalf, so right up the street from you guys. And I think we had like just became friends at that point, got acquainted through, I think we actually met at the Monarch, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And so I got hit with this ad from Kevin O'Leary, and Kevin was talking about how, hey, if you own a business that does $100K in revenue, we'll find $10,000 in tax savings.
He's running the same ad.
And I was like, this is a save money offer. Huh. Okay. And up to that point, I had only worked with restaurants, which is actually how we had kind of got acquainted, right? Butts in seats fast, man. Exactly. And so I'd sent you a couple of referrals, I think. I don't even know if they ever turned into any deals or not, but
I'm still working on Jameson Capital.
So I had messaged you and I was like, hey man, like, well, just to kind of back up, right? With restaurants, it was low ticket, low margin. There was no recurring. You had no idea when they were coming back, right? You were limited to a geographic area, right? Like unless it's a high-end establishment, right? You're not going to be traveling. You're going to go to fucking Freddy's right up the street and get your burger from there, right? You're not going to go downtown to Town Topic unless you're down there. And so that made it hard for my business because if they had a bad month, they don't necessarily need marketing, right? And the other problem is that it made it way harder for them to be able to spend to acquire a customer if they weren't able to know that that customer was going to come back.
Right.
So I started looking at accounting firms and the stickiness of accounting clients, which you might want to look into that industry too, just because of how sticky accounting clients are. And it was literally the exact opposite of everything. But I asked you, I was like, so when someone switches to you to save money, how long do they stay with you? And I think at that point, you hadn't even lost a customer yet.
Correct.
You were like, they switch and they stay forever.
Yeah.
So I started...
Which is true to this day.
Yeah. And I started talking with these tax strategists. And I'm like, how long does somebody stay with you once they switch to you? Because it's the same USP. We're going to save you money.
Yeah.
The money's already sitting there. right? You can either pay the IRS $100K, or you can pay the IRS $30K and pay me $10K to do that for you. Which one do you want, right?
Yeah.
And of course, once somebody gets the tax strategy, they move over their bookkeeping, they move over their, tax prep,
It's a nervous system transplant.
Exactly.
And you only want to do it once.
Exactly. And so that was the whole reason why I got into advertising tax planners, was for those reasons. It's a save money offer. You can go nationwide. It's high ticket, but they have a super sticky back end. And so of course they can spend way more to acquire a customer that they know is going to stay with them for 6, 7, 20 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know
If it's a 2-year ROI, then you're just printing after that.
Yeah. And I don't know if you talk with a lot of accountants, but they aren't the best salespeople. And so the fact that it was a save money offer made it super easy for them to convert over. So yeah, you were one of the reasons why I actually got into advertising.
Love that.
Tax planners.
Yeah. Tax planners and bookkeepers.
Yeah.
We try to strategically align with them because they have an intimate understanding of the P&L, and they can tell you off the top of their head for the most part, because they have no sense of humor, but they're really smart about what their clients are paying in credit card fees off the top of their head. Like, oh, he's at probably 2.83% and he's at 3.2%, and cool, I can help all of them because nobody should be that high.
Yeah.
Unless they're selling porn or something.
And they love referral partnerships too.
Yes. Another one that's fun is fractional CFOs.
Yeah.
Yeah, very similar.
I have a guy that I can get you in touch with for fractional CFO too.
Cool.
He does a whole coaching program, so he has a ton of fractional CFOs in there who you can get in bed with.
Ah, the coaches.
High risk industry, man. WAP spawned a whole business out of that.
So we're actually talking with WAP about just a strategic partnership for processing.
Nice.
Because Stripe shuts all those guys down.
Yeah. Bro, so in fucking Disney World, of all places, okay, I'm not a big fish. I have 1,100 people on my email list. Okay. What's the likelihood that a tax planner comes up to me while I'm walking down Hollywood Studios towards the Tower of Terror and goes, "Hey, do you work with tax planners?"
1 in 25 million is the actual statistic.
Now get this though, right? Here's what's crazy. There's only 82,000 accounting firms in the United States.
Okay.
Not accountants, but certified public accounting firms.
Right.
And of that, maybe 10% are actual tax strategists. I market to tax strategists, so I'm a very niche market. I'm a big fish in a little pond. What are the chances that me and him are in Disney World at the same time, and of all the fucking parks, he sees me at Hollywood Studios and comes up and is like, "Hey, do you work with tax planners?" And I'm like, yeah. And I recognized him because, again, it's a small world in the tax planner industry.
So I last year, as 2 drills away from, I was drilling out of San Jose before I moved to Space Force Base in Colorado, and we always sleep at the same hotel in San Jose. So I walk up to the bar, same bar, it's the hotel lobby bar, and there's this guy sitting at the corner of the bar, and he's buying drinks for everybody. He's like, "Hey, you Marine?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You're drinking on me." I'm like, "I'm not drinking tonight." I'm like, "I'm just gonna grab a sandwich to go." He's like, "Oh, well, your sandwich is on me." I'm like, "Not necessary." So I got my sandwich and left. That was a Thursday night. Friday night, he's still there. Same offer. "No thanks, I'm not drinking tonight." Leave. Saturday night, last night I'm there. I sit down at the corner bar. He comes up like 10 minutes later, sits down, and he's like, "All right, 3rd night in a row. So you got to have a drink with me." I'm like, "All right." And he's like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "Ugh, I'm a cocktail guy, and I don't think I trust any of the cocktails that they're going to make me here." I'm like, "So I guess I'll just have a Guinness." He's like, "A cocktail guy, huh?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Man, you love one of my sons. He's all about fancy cocktails." I'm like, "Cool." And he's just like early 50s white guy. This is important. So we're talking, we're chatting, and my phone lights up. He sees my son in the background. He's like, "Oh, a new father?" I'm like, "Yep." Talk about how amazing it is being a dad. He's like, "I got 4 sons, and I'm so proud of each one of them." And he like starts going by. My one son is a fly fishing guide in California. My one son is an engineer in Florida. My one son is on Northeast coast. And he's like, and my 4th son, one I was talking about earlier, he's a fancy cocktail guy in Kansas. And I go, "Oh, where in Kansas?" And he's like, I don't know. It's a really fancy cocktail bar. I'm like, "Then I know it." And he's like, "Well, no, it's Kansas City." And I'm like, "Okay." And he like pulls up the phone. I was like, "Oh no, it's in Overland Park." And I go, "Is it Verdigris?" He goes, I'm not sure. I'm like, what's your son's name? And he goes, KJ. And I looked at him and go, your son's black? And he goes, yeah. He goes, you know KJ? And I go, absolutely. And I FaceTimed him. And KJ, I was like, what's up, Mr. Jameson? And I'm like, hey, man. And like, I turn the phone to the right. And he's like, oh, what's up? And then I turn it back to me. And he's like, wait, why are you guys together? And I'm like, I honestly don't know. I'm like, I also
Law
don't
of
know
attraction, bro. That's
how we
why.
figured out that he's your dad. But here we are. And like, what is the likelihood that it was at that bar? Mm-hmm. What's the likelihood that we had the conversation necessary to get to that topic? And what's the likelihood that it happened to be a guy who now works for me? Because I was actually not at the time. I was 3 months out from buying the Monarch.
Okay.
And it's just, again, like the crazy stories of how you meet and interact with people and just being personable enough to have those conversations. Like, how did you get deep enough in 15 minutes of conversation to realize that I knew your son? When we're both far removed. He lived in Texas. I lived in Kansas City. We're in San Jose, California.
Wild, dude.
Yeah.
Wild.
So I feel like you have very strategic purchases that you've made. And I think I heard the story correctly, but why did you buy your Ferrari?
Okay. So my dad's a mechanic, been raised on motorsport, love cars, as most men do. Wanted a fancy exotic car my whole life, as most men do. And it finally came time to where I'm like, all right, I'm at a point where I can afford one. And I started looking around. Katie and I moved here in 2020, bought the car in 2021. Well, 2019, but it was at the end of the year. Bought the car in 21. It was between Ferrari and Lamborghini. And of course, my incredible wife, she's like, Lamborghinis are cool, they're pretty. She's like, from a business perspective, I find, again, she was a bartender at a very high-end nightclub where people would regularly spend $30,000. She's like, I feel like the fakers are always, trust fund kids are driving Lamborghinis, and the old money guys with wealth and generational knowledge driving the Ferraris. I think you'll meet more interesting people in a Ferrari.
Speaking of, I want a Rolls Royce. Just let that be on record.
Yeah, well, you're already driving a BMW. It's the same thing.
Same engine.
Yeah. So I was like, you're definitely right. And also Ferrari has the most heritage of any brand, and it is all roads lead to Ferrari. Anyone that says they don't like Ferrari is lying. So I'm like, okay. At that same time, I got acquainted to a guy who is now like a very close family friend of mine, who's the president of Ferrari Club in Kansas City. I got connected to him. His daughter lives across the street from me. Him and his daughter and his son-in-law are like our closest friends. They've been to Disney with us, all of them, including the president of Ferrari Club.
Yeah.
Multiple times. Mm-hmm. And
this isn't Parker and Rachel. This is
Lindsay Hall, Parr
yeah.
Hall, and her dad's Chris Parr.
They were at the pop-up thing?
Yes, she was selling Well Played.
That's what I thought.
Her her Scottish-inspired sports brand.
Yeah,
Really cool.
because Corey does this thing where he'll like mention someone by name, and it's like, oh yeah, I just got off the phone. I'm like, I don't know who the fuck that is. Like, is there context here? Or?
To know him is to love him. So I messaged. So at the time we weren't friends. We were just connected on Facebook, and before Aston was born.
This is the president of the Ferrari Club.
Yeah, before Aston was born and before our basement was finished, I had a Peloton in our guest bedroom looking out over the street. Mm-hmm. And regularly there would be Rolls Royces and Range Rovers and G-Wagons rolling down the street, always parking in the driveway of our now closest friends on the street. And I would post a picture, post it on Kansas City Car Spotters, and eventually he's like, hey,
Shout
that's
out
me.
A, by the way.
Yeah. And so he sent me a friend request, or I sent him one. And I'm like, oh, this guy is like in the Ferrari Club. And eventually he was rolling down in a black 599 Ferrari, which was sick. So I'm like, hey, I'm in the market for a Ferrari. You have the experience. Like, I don't want a maintenance monster. I want something reliable. I know I'm going to put miles on it. So I want something that I can get in and drive every day, et cetera, et cetera. I'm looking at maybe an F430 or a 458. I'm also really looking at like F12s or 599s. And he's like, well, I've never owned a life. It's like I haven't owned a modern mid-engine Ferrari. He had an F40 in the early 2000s, which is the holy grail car. His wife drives a Dino, which is so sick. And he's like, but I would say your best bet would be to talk to Vince, who owns Black Horse Motorworks, which is where he gets his cars serviced.
That's that one off of Metcalf in Stillwell?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he gives me like this long breakdown of every car he's ever had and the maintenance associated with it and his history and his recommendations and people he's known who have had, like, this guy sent me like 12 paragraphs. In my mind, someone who has this many cars is a very busy, professional, high functioning individual. So the fact that he took all this time to help me out, I'm like, man, I like this guy already. I was like humbled that he gave me all this time. And little did I know that that would pass on into my love for his daughter and son-in-law, because they're like our closest friends and amazing parents. That has been inspirational for us too with Aston. But anyway, so he makes me feel really good about Ferrari and the brand. So I go out to sourcing and I'm like, all right, Katie, you're correct. I'm doing that. Bought the car, found it in Illinois, Motor Cars of Chicago. They shipped it over. I got it delivered on November 1st, 21. Within 7 months of joining the Ferrari Club, that car paid for itself from new business from the owners of that club. One of my most cherished clients that we got from there is John Kupchin, who owns Santa Fe Towing out here. We processed their credit cards, saved them 6 figures annually. So I'm pretty sure he's happy with me, I like to think. He runs an unbelievable business. He just got added to the Towing Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
I think he owns the second or third largest independent towing company in the country.
Okay.
Fleet of vehicles, very impressive operation. His daughter like runs the show when he's gone, and she's Kaylee Kupchin, and she's awesome too. But anyway, being inspired by these business owners, all these guys that started really cool businesses in the 90s that are all crushing.
Yeah.
Farouk, who is the owner of, they got bought by, they're that building on Blue Valley and College, or 119th and College. But he was a pharmaceutical advertising company.
Okay.
And I mean, he went to a rally with us and he got CEO of the year, and he flew out on a jet to get his trophy or whatever, and came back in the middle of a rally. I've met so many incredible people. This guy who is now a friend named Chris Stark, who sold a company called Freestar that sold ad space on websites or like public ad space, lives in Paradise Valley, Arizona, software company. So he's been an amazing resource for me for growing TransactCare. He's so generous. He's taken multiple hours out of his schedule to talk with me about trajectory and strategy and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
the monetary dollar amount has paid for the car. The incalculable amount of knowledge that I've gotten, I can't even put it into terms of money, but I can only imagine that 10 years from now, every decision will have been made business-wise, will have been influenced by somebody I met through this club.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to like, I mean, it's a gamble, right? To buy something like a depreciating asset like that, which has appreciated. So that's nice.
About the right one.
Even though I put 20,000 miles on it. But I think if you use, anything can be an asset if you use it correctly. I mean, the amount of deals I've gotten from sitting at bars and somebody compliments my watch or I compliment theirs and we start talking about that.
Yeah.
And you don't need to have one on you, but having the knowledge certainly helps. You can geek out about things, finding common ground. But if you're a car guy, you're a watch guy. If you're a watch guy, you're a car guy. So there's so many ancillary growth opportunities that have happened from the finer things. So yes, is it pretentious? Yes. Does anybody actually need to have a Ferrari? No.
But you didn't buy it for them, you bought it for you. So.
And I tell you, I have not lost sight of, I am so grateful. I mean, at least once a week. It used to be daily, so maybe it is fading, but like I will open my garage door and look out and be like, holy crap, there's a Ferrari in the garage.
Yeah.
And I've never hit the start button on that car and not smiled.
How's your dad thinking about it growing up?
Core memory was him and I driving it the first time together. I mean, it's pretty crazy that we've loved cars so much together for so long, and the first time we ever both sat in an exotic car was when it was mine.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Like he's rented one, or I think he had like one of those exotic car experiences. I did one with an NF430 cabriolet in like 2014 maybe. And again, that gave me that little taste. I'm like, I want this.
Yeah.
I want this every day. And I do have it now, and it's incredible. And I haven't gotten comfortable. If my life stopped right now with all the things that I have, I would be so happy. Like I made it the day that we moved into that house with Katie. I made it. I made it the day I got married. But I will always be hungry for more. And like I said earlier, it's all about legacy at this point. I just want to build something that's lasting. You know, that old adage that you die twice, the first time when your last breath leaves your body, and the second time, the last time your name's ever mentioned. I would like to live forever. Maybe I can.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll need to put you next to Walt in the Frozen.
Yeah, man, Walt. What an incredible story that guy has. I've been meaning to make it up to Marceline, Missouri, where he was born, Walt Disney.
Yeah.
I saw a girl at a bar 2 weeks ago who was wearing a Marceline sweater. She was born there. And I guess up until recently, if you were born in Marceline and you had your birth certificate, you get a Disney for free.
No kidding.
But then people were like driving there to have babies.
Yeah.
So they're like, we got to put a cap on this.
Inflation's getting out of hand.
I
so
did
we
not
gotta-
fact
we
check
gotta-
that, so I don't know if that's real, but she told me it, and I have no reason to believe she was lying.
That's crazy, man.
But yeah, I don't know. I just, the way, like, segues into conversations with new people is now, especially because everyone's got an angle. It's nice to have something that people want to talk to you about. And a cool car is a really easy way to have that executed.
Yeah.
So that's helped.
Well, and funny enough, just talking about like people you can have conversations with. So the watch that you found, right? For me, I think maybe like 3 days after I got it, I hop on a Zoom call and this guy has a Patek on. And I was like, what kind of watch you got? He's like, oh, it's a Nautilus. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, I just picked up my first timepiece, right? Because it's not a watch anymore. It's a timepiece.
You can call it whatever you want. You don't have to be pretentious.
And I asked him, I was like, well, we were just chit-chatting about it, blah, blah, blah. He was telling me about his collection, but I ended up landing the deal. And so I think it was just cool to have a little rapport and a talking point other than what part of what part of the United States are you from? How's the weather, right? It's like, oh, what you got? You know, so it was a cool conversation starter.
Yeah. So once you start referencing the references, oh, Nautilus, is it 5711 or?
Yeah, I'm not that deep yet. I just know I want the navy blue one.
Yeah.
Did you hear how they came up with the navy blue?
No.
On the Nautilus? Okay, so if you go into the Nautilus factory, corporate headquarters, whatever, and you go all the way up to the top floor, if you look out, there's a lake.
Actually, I did see this.
Yeah, and he's like, I was watching the video of the guy who was getting interviewed or whatever, and he was like, yeah, you see that lake over there? Look at the Nautilus. What color is the Nautilus? It's the exact same color as that lake.
Well, the designer of the bracelet of the Nautilus also designed the Royal Oak in the same 24-hour period.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. You said that was your favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wore it on my wedding day. So that will always be my favorite,
Yeah.
my wedding watch.
That's awesome. Man.
But yeah, the designer then, he recently designed a bracelet for a new French-born Chinese guy. The company's called Atelier Wen, and they make this beautiful watch. And by modern designer watch standards, it's affordable. It's like $3,500. And he designed this beautiful bracelet, and I'm obsessed with it. I have it in 2 colors. I'll send you a picture of what the bracelet looks like. But it catches light. It's funny once you realize that the guy that designed the Royal Oak and the Nautilus bracelet designed this one. You can see it's like a perfect blend of both. It's like hexagonal, and it captures light beautifully. It's machine brushed on the front, but then when it bends, all of the intricate parts are polished. So it reflects light a little bit differently. It's amazing how simple changes to steel can be so beautiful.
Yeah.
Design is so fun. I wish there was a way to make a lot of money quickly in it, because I'd love to just sit in a quiet room and build things, but yeah, here we
You'll
go.
have to get in with the payment processing, man. Start processing for Rolex and Patek.
You mean the nonprofit Rolex? No, I don't even know if like most watch boutiques they take cards, but they charge for it. Yeah, that part of my angle is whenever I buy a new watch, I try to buy it from a new website and then leverage that spend, so I can see it on the receipt how it was charged, where they're what they're using. You can use AI to scrub the data code to see what kind of shopping cart they're using. Like, hey, I just spent $25,000 on your website. Would you give me the time of day to see if I can save you money on payments? I'm a customer of yours. Do you want to be a customer of mine?
Yeah.
It's like 30% of the time it works, which is better than cold calling.
Okay, so speaking of, right? So you buy the watch, you get in that way. So recently bought Monarch, what, year and a half ago?
October of last year.
Okay, so a little over a year.
So the previous owner, designer, David and Noel Manica, they've built every concept in Kansas City that I love cocktail-wise is theirs. And
Exit strategy, yeah.
Yep. And we met. Well, we had run in the same circles. We'd known of each other. Katie and I were parlor members, the private bar behind the Monarch Bar for the last 5 years. We finally had the chance to rub elbows and like talk for 20, 30 minutes at a mutual friend's 50th birthday party. And we had just really good casual conversation about what each of I are doing professionally. He asked for my number from that friend, and the next day he called me. It was Sunday. Ironically, I was sitting at lunch with one of his employees. And I'm like, David Manica wants to call me. And my friend is like, I bet you he's going to ask you to buy Monarch. I'm like, no. What? I don't know what else he could ask. He's like, nah, timing seems right. I'm like, okay. So he calls me. He's like, hey, just want to know if you wanted to buy Monarch. I'm like, no, I'm good. And he's like, well, why don't you come to my office this week and we'll chat. And maybe it's I'm going to give you a screaming deal on it. I'm like, okay. So I drive to his office on Tuesday, and this guy is like, from a business perspective, as the way I understand what he's done, I hate the term disruptor, but man, he is it in the architecture space. He's got to be hated by his peers and loved by everyone that looks up to him. Incredible what he has done, the approach he's taking, the perspective he's brought to that industry, and just crushing it. And it's so cool to see. So anyway, I have so much immense respect for this guy, and I don't get starstruck that much, but I was nervous as hell going to meet him in person, like privately. So go to his office. He has like 3 buildings on his property. There's like a house, there's a pool behind his office. He's like design room. And he's a Star Wars nerd too, like me. So he had all this cool stuff behind him. I'm like, all right, well, at least there's some familiarity. So we go into the little boardroom in another building on the property. We sit down and we just start talking. He's wearing a Panerai. He's a big Panerai guy, as you'll read in some of the articles about him. But he's talking about the Monarch and how important it is to him and his wife who built it, and all the struggles and challenges of getting it off the ground, and then of course COVID, and how much it means to him. And he sees the way that Katie and I interact with the staff, and he knows that we would be really good stewards of the Monarch going forward. So of course, inherently built in a lot of expectation, but
Sold you on the story, huh?
for sure. And he's like, the Monarch isn't going to make you rich. He's like, but it'll, it pays the bills and it'll get by. And I just want I want a younger person that loves it to take it to the next level. He's like, it's had some ebbs and flows. The music program's so important. And I think it's just time with all my travels and all. He's working on like 6 different stadium projects around the world.
Yeah, because he does what, NFL?
He does. He just does sports stadiums in general. Okay. He's doing. He's done many NFL. He's working on a 4 soccer megaplex in Milan, I believe. Again, fact check all of this, but he's working on. He's the Oklahoma City Thunder, which is going to be the first brand new stadium for a new team ever, as opposed to like a move or like a relocation of one.
Oh, wow.
And he also is doing the Bears Stadium in Chicago, the greater Chicago area, among other projects. I think he's got like 8 or 9 on the table. But he does all this with a very small team, and he just crushes. It's so cool. But anyway, I digress. So he's talking to me about it, and he's like, look, the bar basically owes me $1 million left on the build out, and that's what I would sell it to you for. He's like, you would assume ownership, and you'd assume the loan as it is, and it would be yours to run and do all this stuff with. And I'm like, all right, well, that's a lot. It's a lot to take in. I'll give you some time. Let me talk with Kate, and I'll get back to you. And talked with Katie about it for did some due diligence. It took like 6 months. We went back and forth. And Katie, having 10 years experience in the industry, I knew she would be able to bring cool perspective to it. And finally, it got to the day where, and I was kind of dragging my feet. David's like, hey, man, are we going to do this thing or not? Like, come to my office tomorrow. Let's do it. Or not. It's not a big deal to me. I just need to know. Because I don't want to carry this on through the calendar year if you don't want it. So I'm like, screw it. I'll be there tomorrow. Brought my pen, signed the papers, hugged, cried, left. It has been the most challenging and rewarding thing I have ever done. Out of all my businesses, I've never really had a huge team of employees. Obviously, in the Marine Corps, I managed 2,500 Marines across the country, but that's way different because I can look at the rank on their collar, and if it's lower than mine, I can tell them whatever I want to tell them. There's no HR department. I can be crass, I can be to the point, and they fix themselves, or they correct the problem if there is one, and we move forward together, and we have a mission, and it's easy. Dealing with people that are depending on you to pay their bills and all these other things is it's a different level of stress. And then, of course, in February, so 5 months after we got the bar, Aston started having seizures and was diagnosed with his condition, and it created a whole new level of stress in my life. And again, a guy that's crazy optimistic, I could not reconcile why my son was having seizures. There was no way for me to make that into a good thing. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of made all of the walls around all of my other positive things like come crumbling down. So it was a really dark time that I pulled myself out of, thankfully. And then I started going to therapy, which I highly recommend for anyone. It's been amazing. And I think dealing with that, overcoming that, righting the ship, again, having my rock wife there to say, we're going to get through this, it's going to be okay. And then it has, and it's really forced me to, I'm like, look, I can't impact sales at Monarch quickly. So the best thing I can do to make sure that I'm paying my employees' salaries is build the crap out of my other businesses as fast as possible. Mm-hmm. And I was getting a little comfortable. I never took my eye off the ball per se, but I definitely got a little more lackadaisical in my sales approach. You know, I wasn't putting in 15 hours a day.
Control instead of that.
A little bit. I'm like, we're getting organic growth. Life is good. You know, maybe I'll only cold call for 2 hours today instead of for 6. And I'm like, I'm going to learn a new skill. I'm going to lock in. I'm going to stop reading books, start applying the books. You know, you can read all day betterment stuff, but if you're not applying it, what's the point?
Mental masturbation, as Hormozy.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I started taking the right supplements to sleep better. I was getting up earlier, flipping on the emails, starting using GPT as that started coming of age, and just like really refining my sales strategy on Pillar, on TransactCare, on AB Solutions. Doing new programs for Monarch, actually diving into the numbers and figuring out, okay, I have to really be an owner-operator. I can't just be an owner. Making sure that the staff was happy, getting involved in the welfare and the culture, and trying to do what I could with making sure that they felt seen, that they felt appreciated. And all of those things started paying off, paying dividends. And now the Monarch's in a decent spot. It will persevere. The other businesses are at an all-time high. It's great. And at the very least, if Monarch needs, Monarch unfortunately has needed over 6 figures this year of personal capital just to stay afloat. But I think we've put all of those issues in the rearview mirror. And if it does have ebbs and flows in Q1 and Q2 next year, the other businesses have rose to the point where it's not going to hurt too much.
Yeah.
So
it's like that quote, man, make so much money you can get your wife a coffee bar that loses 20
grand. Yes. That's very well said. But what I will say is while the bar has physically, monetarily cost me money, I have met so many new interesting people because of it. Mm-hmm. And it was being new to Kansas City, where people kind of create their own version of your backstory in their heads. Nobody really knows if I'm actually good at what I do or what Pillar Payments is. But somehow now owning a fancy cocktail bar in Kansas City, which you can look and touch and taste, now I'm somebody. It's like affirmed me in some people's minds, and some people that maybe wrote me off before are like, hey, so what are you doing now? Like, how did you get into this whole business with owning Monarch Bar? Like, what are your other businesses? And it's weirdly enough, I needed that for people to trust that my businesses were as good as they say they were.
Yeah.
It's strange, but it has helped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now if they want to know the whole backstory, they can just listen to this podcast.
I can just send them a link.
Well, dude, thanks so much for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure. I know you guys got to go. I could stay here probably for another 3 hours and just keep shooting the shit with you. But if people want to find you, where can they connect with you?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram.
He's also at the Monarch Bar.
Sometimes. Pillarpayments.com, TransactCare.com, GoABSolutions.com are the websites. TheMonarchBar.com. And the Monarch Bar KC is the Instagram handle. Click the link below, right?
It's been a pleasure, man.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you coming on.